Welcome back, my little nightmares. It's me, Queen Nightmare, and I'm going to read a Drarry Fanfiction, but I do want to say something first. Someone has been like, oh, you're doing creepypasta now. Actually, I've been doing creepypasta in the past. I think my first ever reading was a creepypasta fanfiction. Or it was a Drarry and then creepypasta. They were both at the same time. But I have had some requests to do some more, so that's why I did a Ben Drowned X Tiki Toby. And that's why I'm doing three different stories at a time, so I have a fan-wide thing that you can read. I also have a story that I want to read, which is Aloe's XCL fanfiction as well, but we're just doing Drarry right now. We're probably going to finish it due to it being so short. Chapter, or part 8. Part 8. Hermione, or Drarry. Hermione's POV. I'm sick of it. They're always flirting around me. And I know they're together, and most couples flirt, but they know what state I'm in, considering that ginger-headed prick. They'd be more thoughtful. I don't like it. I think I may like Draco. Hermione's POV. I don't know how to handle my feelings. I want him, and I want him now. Oh, but I can't. Because he's got Harry. They went back into the bathroom, and all that was heard was giggling, then light and aggressive grunts. I tried waiting for them to finish, but I was in an emotional state, and just gathered my belongings and left. Quickly walking to my dorm, Ginny saw me and tried running to me, but every time she had held my shoulder, I shrugged her off. She followed me all the way to my dorm and went to walk in, but was immediately stopped by a heavy mahogany door, rapidly swinging towards her face. She kept knocking and saying my name. Hermione? Hermione? Is this like a Penny joke from Big Bang Theory? Because that's kind of funny. That's all she did for at least 10 minutes. Sheldon thing. Until I got fed up of hearing her determination of getting me to look her in the eye and listen. What? I yelled, tears streaming down my face. She said nothing and just put my both arms around me and stayed there until I hugged her back. I'm sorry for Ron being a twat, she finally said. Why are you apologizing? He's the one who made the mistake, and I'm over him now, I assured myself. Are you, though? 'Cause you seem to be crying a lot. All right, smartass, these tears are because of girl problems, I said, trying not to laugh at her comment. She came in and we spoke for a while before she had to go because of curfew. Wait, they have the same dorm. Do they mean different parts of the dorm? Of the Gryffindor area? Like, is she in... I don't think I ever saw the rest of the boys in Gryffindor and where they slept, other than where Harry Potter slept and where his friends were. That makes me think, where are they situated and how does that work? Interesting. We spoke about millions of different subjects, like Ron being an absolute dick to girls, Ginny's crush, Blaze, how we are in general, our friends, how we both despise Ron but still care for him in some way, and our girl problems. I actually went to bed in a good mood thanks to Jenny's company. I didn't cry and just fell asleep peacefully smiling. Harry's POV. I woke up in the bathtub with a very naked Draco Malfoy leaning against my torso. Hey, he said, stretching and almost pinching me in the face. I didn't say anything, but responded with a meaningful kiss on his rosy, plump lips. "Crap, Miney!" I yelled, throwing Draco and myself out of the bath. I ran into the bathroom, still naked, to find Hermione was no longer there. Both of us went down to the grand hall for breakfast, but Hermione wasn't sat next to me. I couldn't see her anywhere. I skipped my meal and went to find her. I ended up being followed by Draco, but I went to her dorm and he parted off someplace else. There was no answer when I knocked, so I assumed I must have just missed her, and she's gone to lessons. Draco's POV. I tailed Harry until I realized where he was going, but knew where she was already, in the library. She told me the other day before she would often go there because it's a nice, quiet place to study early in the morning. Her eyes met mine, and I gently pushed the door open to see her sat there, being pulled down into a book about our next class. The hinges squeaked as the door opened. Further. Her gaze met mine, and we just stood there in dead silence, waiting for one another to break it. "Thought you'd be here," I eventually murmured. She still didn't speak for a while until she whispered, "Yeah, why wouldn't I be? I don't like people." We just stood there for a while and slowly began to erupt into laughter. I walked across the room to where she was sitting and sat down on the cushioned seat next to her. "How are you? Really?" I asked her. "What do you mean? I'm fine," she said, perplexed. You weren't there when I came out of the bathroom," I said. I felt disturbed, and I didn't like the fact that you guys were having it in the next room. And it hurt me, Draco. It hurt me a lot, she explained, letting a single tear roll down her face. She slowly reached out for my hand, and I held it tightly. I didn't know what to do, so I just sat there, frozen. "Hermione," I whispered before she shushed me. She lurched forward and laid a simple kiss on my lips. I quickly jumped up and ran out the door in shock. Author's note: I'm not gonna bother putting in speech because that'll just get boring if I've already put it in, and then writing from another person's perspective. But the same part, just how the other person sees it. Sorry if that made no sense, but you'll get what I was trying to say in the next chunk of the writing. Basically, she says it's less work for her, and she just wanted to explain herself. Cool. And I understand that. Hermione's POV. Draco came to see me in the library while I was quietly getting a head start on all my lessons for today. We spoke for a little while, and I thought it was the right time to let him know how I feel. The conversation we were having just seemed to fit in perfectly. I edged my hand closer to his and laid a gentle kiss on his lips, but he got up and ran. He ran out the doors and didn't look back. I watched him leave, and tears slowly began to fall down my cheeks. The moment he just looked at me, stunned, hinted. Immediately, he did not feel the same way. I was trying so hard not to cry because when he left, that's when the waterworks came along. I tried to go back to my studying, but everything just became a blur. I slammed the book shut, threw it on the shelf, stormed out of the library, ran into the Quidditch field, and just ran around it a few times. I felt a sharp pain shoot up my spine as it cracked when I fell to the ground. My eyelids slowly became heavier as the bright blue sky slowly got darker and darker. Everything went black. Well, don't try to make a move on your friend's mans. Just duh. What a skank. I'm sorry. bad words. I mean, I know that you like him, but you don't plant a kiss, because that makes him look like a cheater. You should at least just say, I really do like you. I want to just tell you that so I get it off my chest. Don't plant a kiss on him. That's just, what? Whatever, Hogwarts. I love that title. I tried to go back to my... this is what happened before, and I'm not going to read it over again because everything went black. Hermione's POV, I woke up to a bright light shining over my face, the nurse violently shaking me and yelling my name. I glanced around the room, expecting friends to be gathered around, worrying about my health, as I do for them, but no one was in the room, but me and the nurse. I didn't want to cry again, but I did all anyways. I just stopped caring about everyone and everything. I got up and was halfway out the door when I was stopped by the nurse, placing a cold hand on my shoulder. A shiver traveled down my spine as the room suddenly chilled. I haven't cleared you yet, spoke the nurse in a stern voice. Ignoring her, I shrugged her off and continued on my way. I went onto the field and lit a cigarette. What? Wait, when did she have cigarettes? Cigarettes from my pocket that's been tempting me for a while. Where the frig did she get a cigarette? I know they do a lot of pranks and stuff, but did she get it from like the Weasley twins? Because they deal a lot of stuff. They probably deal in the devil's lettuce. They probably deal in the cigs. And I'm probably deal in other things too, if you know what I mean. I rolled up late for all my classes, and Dumbledore was not happy. I could tell that much. What's going on? What's gotten into you? He asked gently. What's it to you? I asked, turning my back to him, fiddling with a lighter. Okay. I lit it. A lighter. It's Lighther, not liter as Liter. I was like, what? Filling with a lighter. I lit it and waved it around. Bad idea, cause my jumper could set on fire. Caught on fire. I pat it down, just laughed. Hermione, give me that lighter this instant, he yelled. Fine, here you go, you twat. Oh my gosh. Oh my. He's like the Dr. Phil of Harry Potter, isn't he? Oh my gosh. And this is a troubled teen. We love that. I argued back, chucking it towards his beard, causing it to disappear in a messy abyss of his facial hair. He sat there a while, trying to find and dispose of it. But it was gone, and he feared it would spark, and his beard will disintegrate. Now, Hermione Granger, he spoke. I'm Miney. Actually, Hermione is way too long and complicated to spell. Okay, fine. Miney. Could you please tell me what's wrong with you? He questioned, trying to remain calm. What's it to you? I sassed. Bitch, slap her with an iPad. Sorry. Don't slap her with an iPad. I watched too many Daz Games videos when he was watching Spoiled Little Brats, so that's where I got that from. I have had enough with this type of behavior erupting in the school. It started ever since a certain someone came in, but I don't know who it is because we had no newcomers once everyone had joined. Wait, what? Yeah, you figure that out, and I'm going to skip class, I gestured, walking out of the head office. Everything about me had changed. Walking towards my dorm, I thought of all the different ways I could say bye-bye to Goody Two-Shoes and hello to Miss Badass. I had my mind set on a new look. It was the matter of being able to create the look and pull it off. I slammed my door shut and grabbed the scissors and began rapidly snipping huge chunks of my hair off. I gave myself a side fringe, cut all the hair off till it was short enough to be classed as a pixie cut. My eyes had disappeared into the heavy coating of black eyeliner and mascara. I looked like a slut. I mean, I think you just look at like every, you could like look like a Tumblr girl if you just dyed your hair. Slut would be, titties out, showing your booty, showing low asshole, I guess. Yikes, Hermione, you have problems. Draco's POV. I was wondering what happened to Hermione, because she hadn't shown up to class yet. And this was the only class I had with her for today. Not even a knock on the door or a sorry, I'm late to the professor. All she did was walk in and slump down in her chair. Excuse me? Where have you been? Yelled the professor. None of your business, she yelled. All lesson, I kept looking towards Harry, communicating with my eyes, then glancing at Hermione. Once lesson had ended, Harry ran to catch up with Hermione. Hermione, wait up, I ordered. She turned around and yelled in our faces. It's Miney. And now leave me alone, Draco. You really hurt me. With that, she hurriedly went into the girls' bathroom to fix her makeup before anyone saw. What happened between you two? She confessed her feelings to me, and I couldn't handle it, and I didn't know what to do, so I ran away. I explained. That doesn't sound too bad. What aren't you telling me, Draco? Ooh, no, he pulled out the last name. Why are you not telling me Malfoy? Ooh, bitch, if they bring out the last name, if they bring out the middle name, you're screwed. But the last name, you're just kind of pissed. He demanded. I really don't want to tell you, Harry. Tell me, he spat. She kissed me. His jaw clicked as it fell from its resting position. He stood there, staring at me wide-eyed. Who? What? When? Where? And why? He baffled. Hermione Granger kissed me earlier on today in the library because she has feelings for me, I answered. He turned to face the other way and began making his way down the hall, still with his mouth gaping open. I laughed and followed him all the way to where he wanted to go. We ended up with Hagrid. Hey, Hagrid, he smiled. What did you want, Harry? I don't know what that came out of my mouth like that. I was thinking of a mixture of Glee characters, and I don't know what happened. That just came out like that. What did you want, Harry? Could I borrow the invisibility cloak, please? He grinned. Hagrid sighed, but still he handed Harry the cloak. I already knew that Harry wanted what Harry wanted it for. He pulled the cloak, the hood over his head, and off he went. He was wearing way too much cologne, so that's what that left a trail stay behind. That's how I stayed behind him on his trail. Yep, I was right, I thought to myself, as I stopped outside the girls' toilet. Harry's POV. Draco followed me all the way to the girls' toilet, but I have no idea how he could follow me if I'm invisible. He stopped when I entered the room. The door creaked open as I walked in, and Hermione jumped from the toilet, where she was crying. All the stalls were empty, apart from one. I gently knocked with one knuckle and whispered, "Miney, can I talk to you?" Got no response, so I took it into my own hands to try and look at her. I stepped into the stall next to her and stood on the seat and jumped straight over the wall, attempting to climb over. I heard a small snicker as I hit the wall with a thud. "One more time, Harry," I muttered, and I managed to swing my legs over the wall, but then I was hanging on for dear life. "Don't let go, Harry," I yelled, making her laugh some more. Using my flimsy arms, I pulled myself over the wall and landing on the floor with a crash. "Ow!" I winced. Looking at Hermione, she just burst out laughing because she saw the whole thing due to my hood falling down. "Ah, that's better. I can see you now," I joked. "Now speak to your therapist. What's been bothering you lately?" I asked in a humble voice. This made her laugh even more. She laughed so hard it turned into more of a cackle. "Listen, me and Draco understand why you did what you did, but that's not going to change our friendship. I know why you had a crush on him. He's fucking hot. He's a fucking sexy beast. But please, 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 go back to normal, Hermione. But keep the hairstyle. It's sexy," I cheered. Still, she spoke into not a single word, but just smiled. With the hood went back on, and we waltzed out of the toilets happy as can be. Draco's POV. I was stood outside. My legs started to hurt, so I sat down. I was sat twiddling my thumbs when a blood-curdling laugh took me out of a trance. Following the laugh, I heard a loud thud. What's going on in there, I thought. My curious expression turned itself into a smile to know that Harry is making her laugh, and hopefully she will be all right. Don't know where that came from. All right. 5 minutes later, out walked a Hermione by herself, but just was followed by the strong scent of cologne. "I'm sorry," I cried, flinging my arms around Hermione. "You're forgiven." She rolled her eyes, tapping my arm, telling me to get off her. "Aha! She speaks!" yelled Harry as he pulled the hood down. She couldn't help but laugh. "I'm sorry, too," she apologized back. I couldn't help but break out a little smile. "She's back!" What is this, like kind of a poltergeist reference? Is it poltergeist? I think it's poltergeist. "They're here!" Draco's POV. I was standing outside. Oh, this just happened. Okay. Going on. Draco's POV. We strolled down the corridor with Harry looking very smug and as if he'd just saved the world from a meteor. Every time I looked over at him, I couldn't help but to just let it out a little snigger. We had no clue where we were going, but we carried on walking anyways. I zoned out and met my destination to be a classroom. Hermione was back to her normal self, answering almost every question, nothing but politeness, great posture, and a warm, welcoming smile permanently placed on her face from now on. Me and Harry looked at Hermione, then at each other, and smiled. Lesson ended, and we went to lunch. I thought, fuck the rules. I'm going to sit with the Gryffindors today. For the whole time, mine and Harry's and my hands were joined. I realized that lately, with all the Hermione drama, me and Harry haven't really spoken as much. or even kissed. I mean, yeah, so we had that last night, but we haven't kissed since then. Do I need to fear for our life? Dude, this is so high school, like maybe even middle school drama. We haven't kissed in 24 hours. What do I do? Chill. You only kiss when the time is right. Just let it happen nice and freely. Lunch had passed and I pulled Harry to the side. Harry, we need to talk. I spoke with a slight worry in my voice. Yeah, what is it? He smiled. You've been kind of distant today, as if you're afraid to be with me, I mentioned. No, Draco, don't think like that. I love you. A tear rolled down my cheek, and using his thumb, he wiped it away and kissed me tenderly. Show me you love me, Potter, I cried before storming off. What? I zoned out and ended up being shoved around a group of Slytherins. What happened? I'm so confused. Author's note. I'm sorry for not updating this much. Okay, she hasn't been updating it lately, and I will, however, write ideas into a notepad for all stories, so she'll add it along the way. I have writer's block, so you'll still get chapters. I'm sorry for this chapter for being so short. What just happened in that one sentence? Show me you love me, Potter, he cried as he stormed off. They just kissed. I'm so confused. So, I just can't get over how she was being, like, no one came to help me or heal me, and then she got right over it when she saw those two. And, apparently I would not survive at this school because I would beat a bitch up. Part 11. Or is it part 10? I think it's part 10. Lunch had passed and I pulled Harry to the side. Oh yeah, this is Harry's POV. I was pulled over by Draco and it seemed as if he wasn't happy with the way I was acting around him. I cried into Hermione's shoulder. He said it seems to him that I'm afraid to be with him, Hermione, I sniffled. She said nothing but just rubbed my back, shushing me with a soothing sound. She let me cry and cry onto her for ages before she had enough and told me to stop. Look, boys come and go, Harry. Now get over yourself. Stop letting him control you. It's pathetic. She demanded. Hypocrite, I muttered under my breath. Luckily, she didn't hear it, because if she did, then I'd be shoved into a microwave and made into popcorn. No, I would be punched. I'm going to say this to you. I'd rather be punched or slapped than spat on. If someone spits on me, it's game over. I will beat a bitch up. She stepped into the bathroom, disgusted by the mess in such a nice bathroom, and grabbed me some tissues. I blew hard into the tissue, emptying my nose of snot. I just want his love and his warmth by me right now. Oh, for Merlin's sake, Harry. I was suddenly yanked by the wrist and dragged into the hallway. Just before walking toward, I spotted a certain blonde standing out, earphones in, with a few books and papers in his lap. I was dumbstruck to see Draco Malfoy doing homework. I admired him from afar before quickly making my way over to him. I sat opposite him, and it didn't take long to notice his face was scabbed all over. I pulled out one of his earbuds, gaining his attention. Draco, what happened to you? I said, stroking his face before reaching out for his hand. Slytherin frowned out. I, Draco Malfoy, am in love with a Potter. he sassed, jerking his hand away from mine. He put his headphone back in when he was stopped by a kiss violently placed on his lips. I love you, Malfoy, and I want to marry you one day. He didn't respond, but cracked a little smile and swung his arms around my waist. He placed his head... What is wrong with these teenagers? They have such big mood swings. I mean, I don't have this... I don't transform like that. It takes about 2 minutes, and that's it. But this isn't 2 minutes. This is literally a second. Is this real? Are people actually like this nowadays? Ugh, I will not last in society. Oh, man. Because some people like this get on my nerves sometimes. Sometimes. It depends on the person. He didn't... I glanced behind me to see Hermione smiling at me before turning to walk away. You still have to prove you want to be with me, though, Potter, he said, smiling whilst gathering his things and walking away. Cocky as always, I laughed. Never gonna miss that. Class eventually came around, and I couldn't help but to glare at Draco with passion and warmth. I wrote a note and kept a tight grip on it, writing for a chance to stand and pass it to him. It was the longest 5 minutes of my life, and I went to grab a beaker from the shelf. To get there, I would pass Malfoy's desk. I slipped the note into his robe pocket and whispered, "Your pocket," softly into his ear. He looked startled, and I could not stop myself but from sniggering, as he looked puzzled as to who whispered to him. Draco's POV. A soft breeze wafted past my ear, carrying 2 important words: your pocket. It was hard to figure out whose voice it was, but when the strong smell of Harry's cologne drifted under my nose, I could tell it was him. I smiled and then just smelt the paper, looking at him gleefully. I slowly unfolded the paper, awaiting for good or bad news. The note didn't say any news, but the few sentences that could change the status of mine and Harry's relationship. The grand hall at lunch tomorrow, and I will show you something. I'll leave you with your suspicions. I'll leave you with your suspicions, and know this. No! I screamed, as I found the last part was smudged and unreadable. Me, if I write anything. Damn it. Out now, Malfoy, yelled Mrs. McGonagall. He walked out, curious and frustrated about what he had wrote at the end. Slowly exiting the room, a lot went round my head, and it proves how much I love Potter. Everyone was drowned out, but Potter's laugh was as I walked out growling. Oh, jeez, that would be me. I give a note to a friend, it's partially smudged, they say something really out of order, get kicked out of the classroom, sent to the office. Me, I accidentally get them sent to the office. I laugh. I'm sorry, I know it's mean, but what else am I supposed to do? They're not going to rat me out, or it's just going to be like, I accidentally disturbed class. I'm sorry about that. Slowly exiting the room, a lot went around my head, and it proves how much I love Potter. Everyone has drowned out but Potter's laugh as I walked out growling. But Potter's laugh. I sat up against the wall outside the door until the end of the lesson, waiting for Harry to come save me from my boredom. Right. I'm not speaking to him at the moment, and I can't until tomorrow, which is killing me, by the way. Potter! She's apologizing, author's note. She's apologizing for writing again, has bad writer's block, I will try to upload more. If I could have some suggestions, that would be good. Sorry for the short paragraph. It happens. Part 11. How long have I been doing this? Not long enough. We got this. Out now. Oh, wait. Harry's POV. I laughed so hard when Harry got sent out. I knew exactly why as well. I purposely smudged the last part of the note. See, that's what I would do. I would do that too. I'm an asshole. I just noticed that. I'm an asshole. Absolute D word. Not saying it unless I have to from the book. Okay. I personally smudged the last part to see his true feelings about me. I kept glancing at the door all lesson to see Draco slumped against the wall, scowling at me. This reminded me of when we were just first years. Flashback. Harry and Draco were getting sorted into their houses. Draco was up before Harry, looking all smug and dominant. Harry glared at him with hate, but deep down inside, he knew that he had a slight crush on the boy. Harry knew who Draco was, the pure-blood family that acts as if they own the school. Harry would say he despises him and has already made an enemy without even saying a word to him. Their eyes met and Draco scowled at Harry. Harry scowled back. Draco got sorted into Slytherin, and it wasn't a surprise to anyone in the room. Harry's turn, and he was going bright red. Not Slytherin, he whispered. Not Slytherin. I shall be the judge of that. Gryffindor. That hat is like, I think he is the basis of Savage in the Harry Potter world. He's like, oh, you don't want to be sorted into Slytherin, huh? And he just plays with them. Gryffindor! Again, the boys' eyes met, and they scowled. The more and more Draco hated him, the more Harry's crush for Draco rose to the surface. Flashback ended. Harry's POV. Before I knew it, lesson was over and everyone was flooded out of the doors. Draco was being shoved backwards when he was trying to go in. I stayed behind, pretending to pack my bag just so I could listen in on the conversation. They were speaking quietly, but I could still piece it together. Why did you scream in the middle of a lesson? I was in the middle of a daydream and it got really scary. Draco replied with uncertainty. Well, why weren't you paying attention? You're boring, he blurted out. Shit, I didn't mean to say that, he yelled, covering his mouth. Oops, he corrected himself. I fell to the floor with laughter and rolled on the floor, hugging my chest. Potter, Malfoy, detention at lunch tomorrow. But Professor, no buts. We have plans at lunch tomorrow, Draco. At lunch tomorrow, Draco argued. Well, move it to free period, she smiled sarcastically. Oh, for Merlin's sake, I huffed. Storming out the room, Draco did the same. Your fault, blamed Draco. Not my fault. You screamed and had to stay behind. Not my fault. You fell to the floor laughing. You know what, Malfoy? I spat, pushing him against the wall, breathing heavily in his face. His eyes showed fear, but his face said otherwise. He bit his lips, just stared at me deeply. I edged closer to his face, and our lips met. We shared a tasteful kiss that lasted ages. I couldn't see, but I could feel people staring at us. The hallway became packed as everyone recorded our hot kiss. I let my hands travel around his waist, meeting each other as I interlocked my fingers, bringing him closer to my body. Is this enough to show I want to be with you, Malfoy? I whispered into his ear as we hugged to catch our breath. Mm-hmm. He nodded. We stayed close to each other for support as we were both close to passing out. He stayed put with his head on my shoulder until everyone had left. I love you, Draco Lucius Malfoy. I love you, Harry James Potter. We smiled at each other before he placed a longing kiss on my lips. Hermione walked up the hallway and I saw her in the corner of my eye. She stood there a while staring at us, smiled, turned around, and walked away. Hermione, wait! I yelled, pulling out of the hug and turning to face her. I jogged over and hugged her. Thank you, I whispered in her ear. You're welcome, Harry. Just don't forget about me. She joked. Never. I smiled. She turned around and left just when Draco caught up and intertwined our fingers. Let's go, I smirked. Let's go, I smirked. Sounds like I said it. I led him to my room and kissed him deeply. Oh boy. I know where this is going. I don't feel like eating anything tonight, I told him. He looked down and frowned. I burst out laughing and climbed into bed, and Draco did the same. It felt nice to have him breathing on my neck, causing goosebumps to cover me. Good night, Draco, I said, kissing his hand. He reached around my waist and pulled me closer to him. He turned me around and hugged me tight. A few minutes later, he fell asleep, and I discovered he snores. I reached into the drawer and pulled out some earplugs and fell asleep peacefully. Oh, man. I would have had headphones in. Author apologizing again. Going on. My question is that this is so middle school, like drama or something like that. This is what middle schoolers do. They kiss in front of people. You know what? I'm not ashamed of this. I'm not ashamed. I kissed my best friend in school in front of my classroom. I was not ashamed of it. And I'm still not ashamed of it. Someone gave me a dirty look though. She was shocked. A African American lady, she's a grade younger. It was like, oh, hell no. Me and my friend, we're, like, cool like that. She was like, you're the one that, made me discover that I liked women. And I went, I hate myself, so I can't really see what you see in me. So, I'm glad that I, helped you with something positive. Okay, let's go on. Before this gets any weirder. Part 13, or part 12. I led him to my room and kissed him. Okay, that we already read. Harry's POV. I think me and Draco argued because we took things too fast. We need to try and... Wait, when did you fucking argue? Says nothing in the... You just fell asleep. Where is this going? Author's note. I've just realized in the last paragraph of most recent chapters there was a typo. It should say, he turned me around and hugged me tight. That's what I thought I read. Maybe that's just I think I have a form of dyslexia sometimes. I don't know. I think me and Draco argued because we took things too fast. We need to try and slow things a bit down. I thought to myself as I lay in bed while Draco hugs me tight in a peaceful slumber. But I can't tell him that. I spoke out loud, waking Draco up. Tell who what? Him who? Him what? He asked, still half asleep. I'm I can't tell Ron that I want to be friends again. I lied. Ew, Ron. But he's ginger, and not to mention weird. Okay, no offense to any ginger out there. I'll be your best friend. But I think he's getting at, like, but he's a ginger, and then, like, gingers have no souls kind of thing. I think that's what he's talking about. And not to mention weird. Yes, Ron can be a little weird. And a dick. I said the D word when I was not supposed to. Oh, well. Okay. He grossed. You never fail to make me laugh, Draco. I laughed, kissing him softly on the head. He shook and brought my face to meet his lips. Ugh, morning breath. I mean, I don't mind, like, a little kiss, like a good morning kiss, like a mwah. But, like, tongue, kill me now. That's so much bacteria. Just, no. I rolled on top of him and let my hair flop onto his forehead and kissed him lovingly. I pulled away, teasing him, and got up to get ready for breakfast. He moaned in disagreement and patted the bed, motioning me to get back in. I've been skipping too many meals, Draco, and so have you, I argued, literally dragging him out of bed, causing him to land on the floor with a thump. You're no fun, he sulked. But I am, I laughed as I replayed his face of being dragged out of bed over and over and over again in my head. Now, come on, my little doggy. Let's go on walkies. We still have an hour and a half before we need to be down, so let's go on a nice walk, shall we? I suggested. He still sat sulking and didn't respond. It could be romantic, walking through the fields, hand in hand, in the refreshing winter morning. Come on, it's the first day of December, I urged. I read this at the wrong time. He raised one brow, and got up to get ready, still not speaking a word. We were out of the dorms in 10 minutes, and we did as I said. We were holding hand in hand, walking through the fields on the snow on this cold winter morning. But Draco had other plans, as always. He tackled me to the ground, kissed me, and he lay above me as we laughed and embraced. The moment. I love you, Malfoy. I love you, Potter. Never leave me. I'm here always and forever. We were dragged out of the moment as the bell rang for breakfast. Come on, let's go, I ordered, pushing him off me before letting my feet take control. We walked back into the building, fingers interlocked and in love. Draco's POV. I don't want to go, I laughed, pulling Harry in close and pinning him against the tree. His face was so close to mine that his warm breath heated my face in the cold. Our face got so close that I thought we were going to kiss, but Harry got his way this time by pushing me back and running off, still holding my hand. I stood there offended before my arm was yanked to the side, causing me to fall into the long grass. The grass was so long I was hidden. Draco, Harry asked aloud. I could hear the grass crunch beneath his feet as he walked closer. He got so close I could see his hair through the grass, and I picked the right moment to jump up and scare him. Ah! He screamed. I can't really scream right now. It's literally 10:10 p.m., so I do have a Dr. Pepper. I just found that Dr. Pepper has caffeine in it. I didn't know Dr. Pepper had caffeine in it, so I'm screwed. I'm going to be up most of the night, so this is what I'm doing. I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe, and it hurt my stomach. You screamed like a girl, I wheezed, but still laughing. Harry scolded me and went to bring me to my feet. He held out his hand, and just when I was about to grab them, he pulled them away and walked off in a huff. Harry, don't leave me. The grass will eat me alive, I called to him. In the distance, I heard a small laughter, but it wasn't coming from Harry's direction. Hello? I asked. Hello, Draco. I need a deep voice. Hello, Draco. Spoke a deep voice. The voice sounded raspy and rough, but stern. Who are you? And don't come out at once. I regained myself. I brought myself to my feet and looked towards the building to see Harry walking in, completely unaware of the situation. The trees around me shook, and the leaves rustled. As the last remaining leaves fell from autumn, I didn't know where to look. And then I remembered what my fellow Slytherins did to me. I touched my face and stroked my faint scars. Everything seemed to close in on me, and I struggled to breathe. Everything started to go dark. I felt myself fall, expecting a sudden thud. As I hit the ground, I was caught, and I was hoping it was my father. The voice. I remember now. It didn't sound good. Well, should I go on? Well, I have 2 chapters left, and it's almost done. Let's just screw it and just go on with it. Part 14. Well, part 13 to you guys. The trees around me shook, and this is just a reminder. The blinding light of the nurse's office woke me up. Hello, Draco, spoke a stern voice. Father? Not quite. Then who? Look and you'll find out. I need to be more raspy. My deep voice is a raspy, deep voice, so this is perfect. I raised my head to see a noseless face. My head dropped back onto my pillow, and I sighed. I wasn't afraid of him. I just didn't like him. I don't blame you, because you have to have hugs from him, so. What did you want, Voldemort? I asked, with an attitude. Hey, I caught you. Show me some respect, boy, he spat. Fine. How may I help you, Lord Voldemort? Well, you're free to go, and I'm taking you hostage, he demanded, and swooped me up. I wriggled about, but he cast a spell on me, and I couldn't move. It was a long journey to his lair, even though he used a spell to get there. Well, what did you want with me? I asked. I want something from something off your father, and he isn't giving it to me. So I'm using you, he explained. Now, to let your father know, I've got you. But first, he brought out a metal table and pinned me against it, while he used the chains to prevent me from leaving. The chains hurt as they got tighter and tighter the more I moved. I could feel my hands getting cold. Some sort of viewing point appeared in the middle of the room, and I could see my father, and he could see me. Father! I yelled. Who is this? Who has my son? Lucius Malfoy's point of view. This is getting interesting. Saucy. Lucius Malfoy's point of view. Who is this? Who has my son? I yelled as I approached the viewing point. The Voldemort voice just... The more I stepped forward, the blurrier he became. I got so close I felt as if I could touch Draco, but... oh my goodness. No more Voldemort voice. Not right now. Okay. he's gonna come up, but I stopped by, I was stopped. I was like, what the heck is this? I was stopped by Voldemort as he stepped in front of me. Oh my goodness. My lord, unhand my son, I demanded. I demanded. What did you just say to me? I said, unhand my son, now, I yelled back. First, you must come down here at once. Right away, I said, trying not to sound frightened. I made my way to his lair and cowered down at his presence. Draco's POV. Ooh, some drama. This is getting good. I thought this was going to be a boring one, but it just went from middle school drama to what the fuck. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'd never seen my dad like this. He is a Malfoy. Malfoys don't take anything from anyone. But he really is scared of him. Father, I'm okay, I assured him. Draco, I'm sorry you have to see me like this. It's okay. Now, you have something of mine, Lucius. Voldemort spoke. What could I possibly have that you don't? A nose, he demanded. Now give me yours. Never. Fine. Oh, I don't have a son either. Guess Draco is my child now. No! Your nose? Your nose. Or your son. Which is it going to be, Lucius? Both, he yelled as he ran for me. He cast a spell, making us both disappear. We were safe for now, and my dad held me close. I'm sorry, he apologized. Father, it's okay, I promise. It's only a matter of time before he comes for you. Again. You need to hide, he told me. Who's that kid you're always on about? He's got a ridiculous name. Harry, is it? Yes, it's Harry, and his name's not ridiculous. Well, what does his name mean? Harry means ruler of the house. He likes to be in control. Definitely loves to take control, I said, biting my lip, looking off into the distance. Draco, he yelled, getting my attention again. Go to this Harry, he ordered. I nodded and ran to his room. I slammed the door shut and I leaned against it, my hands on my chest. I was panting when Harry appeared from around the corner. Only his head was visible, and his hair looked sweaty. Flying solo, then, I laughed. Not anymore, he said with lust. He pinned me against the door and kissed me and... Oh, wait, who's bottom? Was it... I thought Harry was bottom, but now I'm second guessing that. That's why is Voldemort coming back to haunt me? I don't know what that voice is, but it said deep and raspy, and that's my deep and raspy voice, and that worked. It's very unnerving. Okay. Okay. Pinned me against the door and kissed me intently. He slowly made his way to my neck, and his hands traveled to my waist. He undid my belt and whipped it out. Whipped it off. It's not getting that far. He flicked it, and it slapped the wall. I couldn't help but let out a slight moan. Harry, I need to talk to you. He pulled himself off me and looked me in the eyes. What is it? He looked concerned. I smiled as I watched his eyes glisten as they began to fill in the light reflected of them. of them. His smile trembled a little bit, but my smile assured him. Voldemort is after me and my father. What? Well, what does he want? A son or a nose? A nose? He laughed. I couldn't help but crack a smile. His laugh gives me butterflies. He pulled me into a hug, still laughing, and spoke a few meaningful words. I'll protect you. I felt him smile as his chin shifted on my shoulder. We sat on his bed for a while, talking and laughing. At one point, he pulled me close to him, and he sat behind me with his legs outstretched, I think. I'm not too sure what the rest of the sentence meant, but that's what I expect. His arms wrapped around me, and his chin on my shoulder. We swayed along to our own song and sat there in silence. I was so comfortable, I fell asleep. It seems Harry did as well, because I was on the same old table as before. Father? Harry? I called out. Yes, my son. Voldemort spoke. He came from around the corner, and he seemed to have a nose on his face. Huh? I gasped. That nose looks horrible on you, Valdi. Where's my real father? My only father, I yelled. Well, too bad. I merged with your father, so he will always be in my heart. He laughed. I let out a scream, and the door was kicked open. Harry stood in its place with his robe and wand. I repositioned myself and tried not to. Oh, I mean, I can deal with cringe, but what the fuck? You just hear your dad's fused together with Voldemort, and you just see Harry popped in, and this is what you do. I repositioned myself and tried not to moan out of his sexiness. You got issues. I mean, same, but I need to stop relating to characters. Ugh, it's a bad habit of mine. Harry took a look at me and winked. A huge battle took place, and Harry was hurt several times, but he still got up and carried on fighting. The one last hit went to Harry and Voldemort. They both fell to the ground, and my father stood still, remaining in his place. Father, go check on Harry, I ordered him. He ran to the other half and my other half and cast a spell. He gasped and held his chest as he took a moment to take in what happened. He looked around, confused and scared. Harry? What's wrong? I called out. Harry? Who's Harry? He asked. I stopped breathing and couldn't remember how to start again. I hit my chest a few times. Eventually, it started again. What? I'm confused. So the guy has memory loss. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. Sucks to suck? I don't know. How are you supposed to, respond to that? Okay, last part, I think, right? Right? Yeah, last part. Part 14, or just the end, because she did not continue this after this part, and it hasn't been continued since 2018 in May, so it's almost 2 years ago. So, yeah. Harry POV. I woke up and Lucius was towering over me. Harry, what's wrong? I heard Draco call out. I took my chance and pretended not to know who I or anybody else was. Harry? Who's Harry? I asked, perplexed. Oh, how it was so hard not to laugh. I tried to get up and everything ached. I got halfway to a sitting up sitting up before falling back down onto my back. I groaned as I attempted again. Eventually, I was sat up straight. I moved my head as if I were a chicken looking for food. I cocked my head towards Draco and gasped, You're cute, I stammered. Draco's mouth dropped and he couldn't form any words. Slowly, Lucius's head turned to face Draco. Is he gay? He whispered. So you didn't get the hint that your son was gay, like looking at saying that he likes to be in control and then bit his lip and you were saying snap out of it. So you knew what he looked like. You didn't see those signs. You may be just dumb. Yeah, you're just dumb. Never mind, just dumb. Seems like it. I butt in and not able to take my eyes off from Draco. I slowly got up and made my way to Draco. I held his retained hands and put my forehead up against his. Hello, Draco. I smirked. What? Who are you? What? He stammered. I couldn't help but laugh. I never lost my memory, baby. I was just toying with you. I giggled before placing a kiss on his lips. Draco's cheeks flushed, and he couldn't stop opening and closing his mouth. It looked as if he was explaining to his dad, but nothing was exiting his mouth. Draco, it's okay. I've always known you were gay. It's just those parents that, like, we knew. We just knew. Like, you popped out, we just knew. You just popped out of the womb, we just knew. Machiavelli or Mac does it. His mom said, we always knew you were gay. It's like, true. Sometimes I feel like, there's always a gay cousin. Bitch, I don't have a gay cousin. Oh my gosh, I am the gay cousin. I'm kidding. But, Lucius told him, it wasn't really much of a surprise when Pansy, with Pansy, you never let her touch you. I mean, I don't like being touched by a lot of people, but I do like snuggles. And if we're on a date, yeah, you can touch me, but, like, not inappropriately. I will literally smack your hand like this. Don't touch. No. Don't touch. Don't touch square. I do not touch squares. No. He nodded in agreement and finally words were formed. Thank you, Merlin, he breathed. I finally untied him and pulled him into a hug. Ow, I winced. Oh, I'm sorry, he apologized. No need. Love hurts for a reason. I smirked. He turned to me and smiled. I love you, Potter, he beamed. I love you, Malfoy. I laughed. I've just got lost all interest in the story now. I guess this is how I'm going to end it. I think the way it's ended is good enough for an ending. I don't get how some people manage to write 100+ stories. Every time I read a story like a short story like this, a lot of authors are like, I don't know how people do it. And I'm like, I mean, it just flows, really. It's all these ideas that come to you. It happens to me a lot, but with different stories that I could make into one, but I choose not to. It's something I struggle with, but I think the story is good enough to end. Bye-bye. I just love how that ended. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it here. Oh my gosh, I know this is a really long one, but I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you, have a great weekend. Tomorrow I'm going to probably do 2 of them so that I can do for Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday night or Sunday afternoon actually is when I'm going to be able to go. I'm always going to post these around like 3:30 because that's when I, what is it? I get out of school officially. So I think a lot of other people are already out of school because it's either 2:30, 1:30, or 3:30. And I always think afternoon is a nice time to like make your mind a break. So perfect timing for that. Okay, guys, thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to have an update on my life. I was doing homework and all of a sudden I had a call from my dad, and he calls for random things sometimes, but this one was a really, really shocking one for me. I did not know this could ever happen, but there were signs that it could. My dad calls me and goes, "Did you hear anything from the church messaging board?" I barely go on there because they have so many prayer requests and people answer so many different things, so I don't really look at it sometimes. I said, "No." He said, "Your pastor had a heart attack." I went, "Oh, okay." So I'm kind of shaken up, and that's why I was really talkative today, because I'm kind of at that point where yeah, this happened. I don't know how to process it because I never knew someone. I don't think I ever met someone who had a heart attack, or we didn't know it could happen to him. He is a bit overweight. He probably has pre-diabetic symptoms, and that could have, like, his weight could have been into it, but I never thought he could ever have a heart attack, and that scares me sometimes because I do care about my church family, and he's the leader of my church family. Sorry guys, I just needed to let you know because that's why I'm kind of talkative today. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't yet, put on push notifications so you're notified every time I post. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all your support. When I looked, I'm over 1,800 subscribers, and it's all thanks to you guys. And I love you guys so much. You are amazing people, and I would have not done this without you. Okay, guys. Bye-bye. Love you. Be happy, be healthy, and always be loving. Bye-bye. Stay healthy and safe.